Comment. Obviously we're coming off of a real disappointing loss, disappointing effort last weekend. I think that after looking at video and everything else that went on, I thought that our guys gave really good effort. We didn't execute well. We didn't execute, play well enough, coach well enough to win that game. And we were in a situation that we really haven't been in since we've been here. And I don't think we handled the environment very well. We didn't handle everything very well. And that's something that hadn't been the case here. I don't, in something that we've discussed in the last 48 hours. And I think the challenge is this week is, we go on the road again for the second straight week as an underdog opponent against a team that's talented, that's excited, that's playing for a division championship, and we've got to find a way to pick ourselves back up and get rolling. And I think in our discussions in this room and discussions with the players, they understand where we are at this point, and we've got some things that we can play for too. I think just looking back, and we have an opportunity with a win here and get into a bowl situation to be a double-digit win football team, which I think it will be only the third or fourth team in the history of Texas A&M to do that in back-to-back years. So, that's important to some of our seniors. Certainly, it's important to this program, and in order to do that, we've got to go up and play very, very well against the Missouri team that is also firing on all cylinders right now. So, the good news is, I think from a health standpoint, we're doing pretty well, and I think our guys understand what's at stake, and we'll be ready to go Saturday night. Questions?
Right down front here, Cease.
Kevin, you could talk about your running game. Was that more execution, not in the game plan? Or
it's a little bit of both. I think, early in the game, we probably could have run it more. They had something to do with that from looks. I think, as the game went on and we got down 2 scores, and, really you start looking at time of possession and trying to get back on the board and doing what we've been successful doing. But I think without a doubt early in the game, we probably could have done some things differently in the running game to be more successful, take a little bit more pressure off of our passing game. That being said, it gets down to execution. We complete 2 balls right on the out of bounds line, out of bounds to Mike, that were big plays. We don't get a pass interference call early. We play fake, we're moving the ball, we throw it, Mike drops one early. So, our execution early in the game created a situation where we had to play catch up and kept putting our defense in a bad position, because I thought our defense early played well. And even though we went for it down there, on the 3 or 4 yard line, that didn't hurt us. I mean, we stopped them. We may have partially blocked the punt, got the ball back at the 39, made a field goal. Couldn't get anything out of that. So, we had opportunities early to get some things done, and the execution early in the game, you would hope that would get a little bit better. It just didn't. And, like I said, after the game, I'm not going to blame it all on that. LSU had a lot to do with that, but certainly we didn't play our best either.
Go right here down front, Aubrey, and then Olin, you'll follow up.
Yeah, from what you've seen on film, how different is Missouri when James Franklin is playing versus the games that he didn't play on offense?
I don't know. Matty Mock's a good player, so you've got to remember now. James Franklin is a very, very experienced football player. Has won a bunch of games, and they're at a point in their program where, Matty Mock is a guy that wins games too, and is a confident young man that can move around. They've progressed their program to the point where they've got a number of guys, and they should, following Chase Daniel and Blaine Gabbert and a bunch of national record setters. So, both guys are really, really capable. I don't know how much they change. Obviously James is a guy that's been around for a while, is an experienced guy, been in big games, bigger guy. May not run it as much as he used to when he was a youngster, but he's certainly capable of hurting you. Both guys are, and I think what they do very, very well is they've got big receivers that create mismatches for you and give them an opportunity to really just throw it up sometimes down the field and then see what happens. And when you got 6'5" guys, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" guys, you can do that. Running game has been really, really complimentary. How they've run it, how efficient they've run it, and then the balance that they've gotten out of their offense creates some challenge for you play action-wise. So sometimes those pictures for the quarterback become different because of the play action, and both of them utilize it very, very well. So they're both capable guys, and they both won for them this year, and I know that they both have confidence. I know Gary's got confidence in both of them by how he's played them.
We'll go Olin and then Brent.
Kevin, do you have a sense of, I guess, for lack of a better word, the mood of your team right now? Does he strike you as being angry or more determined or what?
No.
Anything like that?
No, I think they're just ready to play. I don't think anybody's mad or I think it's like I drive through here, at the gas station. It's like henny penny around here. The sky's falling. Heck, we lost to LSU on the road as an underdog for the first time. We lost by double digits. So, we're playing in a real season in real opponents and real games. And are we where we want to be right now? No. Does that mean that, as I said, the sky's falling? That doesn't mean that either. We're going on the road again this week as a road dog, and the good news is people expect us to win, and that's a completely different attitude than when I first got here.
We'll go down front, Brent, and then Gabe.
Because you come from such a strong background on the offensive side, how involved in the play calling are you during a game? In terms, I know you said Clarence calls the plays.
Yeah,
and things like
in
that,
between series, I try to have a discussion with guys all the time. I think it bothered me as a play caller when people are just chiming in every other play, and I didn't like that, and I don't think anybody who's in a rhythm of thinking likes that either. So we talk a little bit. We try to talk in between series before I get over the defense, and in a game like that, you're trying to get a lot of things done as a head coach. So. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are talked about before games are started. Critical situations, that come up. You try to do some things. I think people asked right after the game. I got a question about why we didn't go for two immediately after Mike's touchdown. Well, it wasn't a touchdown because I asked players when I come off. I said, "Did you catch it?" He said, "I think so." And when I hear that, it's time to try to run the field goal team on and kick an extra point and get 7 points before and they buzzed it right before we could get the ball kicked. In order to get a 2-point play call, we would have to change personnel, get guys in there. So, things like that happen during the game where you have to make a decision, you have to do things, but play after play after play, and as far as saying run, pass, no, we don't do that. And but in situations like that, third down situations, things that in between series, and you have a feel for stuff, and particularly when you have time, we communicate often, and our whole offensive staff does.
Go Gabe and then Chip in the back.
Coach, Baton Rouge was one of the rare times where we saw Johnny struggle really from start to finish. What is his attitude and motivation like as you've been able to talk to him since that game?
We just talked about that. You know, when you talk about a team, you're talking about everybody. So, you know, I think his attitude and motivation is just fine. You know, we're playing in another national televised game against the top 5 opponent this week. So, you know, if you're any kind of competitor at all, which these guys are, and which the guys in this building are, then, you know, your attitude shouldn't be any different.
We'll go back here to Chip and then Suzanne.
Kevin, would you discuss the challenges that Missouri's defense presents, and especially those defensive ends that have created a lot of havoc this year?
Yeah, I think that you know they've really improved from last year. Obviously, statistically, you know, they lead the league in sacks. You know, Michael Sam's a really fine player. Both ends are. I think the underrated stat is they lead the league in interceptions too. So, you know, that's kind of a big statistic when you say that your team leads the league in sacks and interceptions. So, you know, if that's the case, they've been pretty effective against the passing game, and they're pretty effective against the running game because their front four is guys that have been there, understand it and what they're trying to do. I think Coach Steckel is he's more multiple than he's been in the past, and you know, since we've known him, and you know that shows. He's got some more pieces that he can play with, and when you have a defensive front that is as active as they are, that gives you the opportunity to be more multiple in the back, and they're utilizing all their pieces very well right now.
We'll go down front here, Suzanne, and then Kate next to her.
Kevin, Missouri's also second in the conference in rush defense. Is your rushing offense where you want it to be this late in the season?
I don't know. We'll see Saturday night.
Okay, Kate?
Kevin, it's just a couple years ago to hear that Missouri needed to beat Texas A&M to win the SEC East. It would sound kind of silly since they were in a different conference. But you guys obviously came in and had success. Missouri's had success in its second year. What does it say about that two Big 12 teams came into the SEC and fared well quickly? As you know, there was a lot of questions about how both programs would fare.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was more shocked last year with Missouri's record than maybe a lot of people were, just because I think they were a little bit like Florida last year in the fact that they just got so many injuries. You know, James Franklin, by the end we played him, you know, they lost half their team and really played through the year with a lot of injuries. So I was more shocked last year about how they were from a record standpoint, but after looking at them, because we didn't really get to see them until the end, and looking at the injuries and things like that, than I am this year with how they've played. Gary Pinkel has got a track record of winning and winning division championships, winning having double-digit seasons, competing at a very high level, and so, you know, I didn't see that changing. So, you know, is it a surprise to me? No, they've got a staff that's been together for a while. They've got a style of play that's probably a little bit different, and they have a culture of winning. And so because of that, no matter when you establish that, you know, when you move somewhere, it's a heck of a lot easier to continue or bounce back when you have a culture like that than if you don't.
Down front here, Brent.
Johnny had mentioned after the game that his hand was hurting. Was that a concern during the game, and is it a concern moving forward?
If it was, I wouldn't tell you. It's been, I think I said after the game, that's been going on for a while.
Other questions? Kate?
If he couldn't play, he wouldn't play. I'll put it this way: he would want to play no matter what. So if I thought it was at a point where, you know, it was going to be detrimental to him or to our football team, then we wouldn't play him.
Kate?
On Friday, there was a report that you did a radio interview and had said that Johnny was going to make his NFL decision before the bowl game, and then I think I heard on game day that wasn't right. Can you clarify if there is a timeline?
I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, you could listen to, I think it was on SVP and Brazil.
Yeah.
And what I said was, which I was shocked to read, and I said it later on ESPN in the game bus, but nobody ever heard that. That never got out. That the process, I was asked about the process and what takes place. And it wasn't just for Johnny Manziel, it was for all of our third-year players. And, whether you're a redshirt sophomore or a junior, after the game Saturday, Sunday, we will file with the NFL just to make sure and get what they think, and that's just proper procedure. What we do, the guys who want us to go through that, the guys who want us to ask, and we did that last year, and then over the course of time between now and the bowl game, because of the time that's there, we'll gather as much information as we can for each of those players and their families. And then, after the bowl game, usually, and depending on the time, last year it was the 7th when we played. So I think you have, I'm not sure of the date, mid-January, something like that.
I believe so.
Is the last date that you can do that. So certainly, we try to get guys as much information between now and the bowl game as possible. And then that decision, the timing of that decision becomes up to the player and his family. So, that's basically what I said, and I guess I must have stopped short or must have confused somebody, because I didn't say that he's going to make a decision before the bowl game to play. I never said that. And in generalities, some guys have done that. I think last year, DeMontre Moore made his decision beforehand. We left the Cotton Bowl last year with me shaking Luke's hand and having a conversation that we were going to talk in the next 48 hours after the bowl game. Everybody's different. You got time. And with that being said, even if the way I understand the rule too, even if you decide that that's what you're going to do, you got 72 hours to change your mind. So, the process is the same for all of our players that are in that boat. And we'll have an analysis by the NFL. I'll talk to some different people. And what I'd like to do, what I try to do is give our guys as much factual information, meaning information that I can gather from the NFL and from specific people, instead of what's been said on television or on blogs and things like that, or from agents or anything like that. So that's my job as a coach, to give them that information, the most accurate information as we can, so that they can make the best decision for them and their family. I appreciate you asking that.
Anything else for Coach? Down front, Brent? We'll go down front and to the back and wrap it up for Coach.
As you said before, it's a good thing when someone's name comes up in coaching searches and things like that, and your name has come up. So how do you keep that from becoming a distraction? And this goes for all coaches in this situation. How do you keep that from becoming a distraction
I don't
during
know
the season?
that it's not a distraction for us. I mean, our guys deal with it. I think more than anything else, for a team, it's not distracting. I mean, we don't talk about that kind of stuff. And, we spend so much time on week to week, day to day, opponent, everything else. For what I care about is our current team and our recruiting. And for me and for our conversation and with our players, our coaches, and for our recruits, and my conversation with those guys, they understand what we're doing. So it hadn't been a distraction, and recruiting hadn't been a distraction on day-to-day with our team and trying to get done what we want to get done. So for me, I don't see it as a distraction.
Back to the back. Luke, you'll wrap us up.
With Thanksgiving holiday, you've talked about having a lot of young players, things like that. Do you talk to them about being smart on this time, what you eat, things like that, and also just with the extra time of not having school and those types of things?
You know, I really don't. I probably should talk to them about eating. You know, things have changed a lot. I can remember when I coached a team, we used to give them cheeseburgers at 10:30 at night as a snack. Now, we won a lot of games. Last time I was somewhere where we were eating as much red meat as you could eat, you know, and guys continued to win then. You make a lot of, I think your overall nutrition is what's important. You know, our practice schedule will change a little bit this week. We'll practice Thursday morning. We're usually on the field on Thursday. About an hour, maybe 55 minutes. So we'll meet earlier and get guys out of here for probably about 11:20 after meetings and practice. And, you know, we had a discussion yesterday. If you're a couple hours away, you know, you can get home. But usually if you have a home game, you know, we'll back things up Friday. But we'll have to have meetings that get started here Friday morning about 9:45 because, you know, we got a couple-hour flight to Missouri. So, you know, that changes a little bit, and you got to be smart. We've got a meal here, a big Thanksgiving deal for guys who can't get home on Thursday. But if you can, if guys want to get somewhere, that's fine. But Thursday's family time, and if you can't get there during that time, then we got a place for you here and plenty of good food, and we'll be ready to get ready for Friday.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
All right, thanks.